Hi guys, this is Andrew Holmes, and every single Sunday we come to you with new information when it comes to talking about real estate and what you can do in the Chicagoland area. So today in the studio, I have two interesting guests. Number one is going to be from OG Consulting, is Orlando Gonzalez. So Orlando, welcome,
Thank you very much.
and Tom Bonnano. So we're going to talk about kind of what it takes to do rehabs in Chicago, the permitting process, the in and out of it, where people find themselves in trouble. So I'm going to start with Orlando, with you first. You know, everybody wants to get into doing flips. They want to do build outs. They want to do all sorts of things. So number one, what exactly do you do, and where are the things you see people getting in trouble before they come and go, oh my God, I did stuff, and now the city basically, has a stop work order. What type of things do you see happening in today's market?
A lot of
So let's start with
Okay.
first kind of a brief intro of what you do exactly.
what I do is I'm an architectural consultant. I consult with architects and engineers.
Mhm.
So I do new construction, residential, commercial, rehabs, new construction, and all that stuff.
Okay.
Repeat that twice. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, got it. So I guess let me introduce Tom also. So Tom, what do you do exactly in terms of this whole process of permitting and the whole thing about when it comes to building in Chicago?
I've been doing this 23 years. People
Uh-huh.
call me and they ask what they should do if they're doing a flip.
Okay.
They need plans.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, if they're doing additions, they need plans.
Mm-hmm.
If they need consultant, I give them consulting. I do business licenses.
Okay.
And I'm in general help out and I expedite the plans through.
Okay.
I get them done quicker.
Okay.
Maybe not quicker than the next guy, but I do them as fast. I stay on it.
Right.
And we do the reviews, and then when they get done, I get them the permit, and
Okay.
we're done.
Got it.
It's
So-
the same with liquor or business license.
Okay, so same with liquor business license. Reason is this, like, I mean, obviously we have called you guys. You were referred to over by our buddy Dan, who happens to be a fellow investor. Because I think what happens is a lot of times is that there's really nobody that can hold a investor by the hand and say you need to do this number one, this number two, this number three, and walk them through the process, right? That if I knew,
people usually don't know what to do.
okay, so people get themselves in
They
trouble.
may have money, but they don't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not because we have tried that approach, right? I mean, you
Yeah.
said something key, which is a lot of times people will throw money at the problem
Yes.
and think that's going to fix the issue.
And we're here to guide.
Okay,
And that's what
so-
we're good at.
Okay, so your job is to guide people through,
Yes.
hold their hands
Oh, yes.
through the process.
Absolutely.
So where do you think a lot of times whenever people are getting started, like, I mean, I know we did a project recently in the city where they said to us, well, you don't need a permit for kind of stuff you were doing, hardwood floors, that kind of stuff. In the end, I find out after the property sold that the city is sending us basically, there's a thing from the court.
Deficiency letters.
Right. Okay. What is that called?
Deficiency.
Deficiency letters. Okay. So I get a deficiency ledger. I get one for electrical. So we send the attorney to court, fix it, pull after the fact permit, pay the fine, the whole thing, right? And I wish I had known the right process. I wish I had known you guys. So not even get into that mess, because now you're going backwards
Yes.
and solving a mess that you created.
You gotta always remember you have to have licensed contractors for the jobs you're doing, because if they aren't licensed, you put yourself in a bigger box.
Okay, so because that's important, that what you pointed out. Sometimes I think what people get this impression is, oh, I'm going to skirt the system. This is not about skirting the system. This is about following the thing by the book, doing things correctly, so that you don't get yourself in trouble. Because if something goes wrong, somebody gets hurt on your job, it can be a nightmare. And a lot of times people think, oh, it's wink, wink, nod, nod, and it's not a funny situation, and that's the reason I wanted you guys to come in, because I know people have had instances where things happen, and somebody did not pull a license, and they can find themselves in a heap of trouble,
Yeah,
right?
From the city and from a legal standpoint,
From the
you're
legal
both in trouble.
right? Because now, I mean, somebody gets really bad hurt on your property. Now it's not just, and you haven't pulled a permit, and you knew that you did not pull a permit. now it's not just a civil matter; it can become a criminal matter,
Yeah.
right? I mean, this can
life safety.
life and safety issues,
Yeah,
and it can get out of kind of whack. So let me ask you this: what should be the first process? I mean, we are referring now people to you guys. If you're going to do something in the city, so how does it work? Do you guys go evaluate what the project is? Kind of, can you walk
Yes.
me through a couple
We
of the
would have
steps?
we would have to evaluate, meet with a client at the job site, evaluate what they're going to do to the site. If they're not moving any walls, I prefer not to do plans because
Okay.
we can always do short form permits,
Okay.
repair permits, whatever I can do to cut the cost down for the client. I'm happy with that. Plans is my last resort. Doing plans, even though it's my business, I don't like pushing plans on people because everybody has to make money, especially flipping. So assess if we're moving any physical walls, bearing, non-load bearing, plans are required. And I want to say 99% of the villages. Sometimes they'll ask for an owner's sketch.
Okay.
Sometimes, and then after that, we'll start the design process, get it approved by the owner. I set my plans up, set them up for the city, submit them, and then they do the review and the city approves, and we're good to go.
In Chicago, the first thing we
Yeah.
do is check the project, the address for any violations.
Previous
for
violations.
Chicago.
Because
Yeah.
if you have violations and you don't address them because you don't think you have to, then you're in even more problems because the violation is still on the property.
Okay.
So there'll be a cloud on the title.
Right.
Yeah.
No, because I know they can get out of hand, and I want to talk
Yes.
a little bit later about some abandoned buildings, what can happen, because the city has gotten really serious about this.
Yes.
And the reason it is because they don't want people to doing things that are crazy, and especially when the building is, say, vacant, right? And now what's going to happen is crazy people are going to move in, start doing interesting things. It affects the neighborhood. And so the city takes this issue very, very, very seriously. And that's why what we've always said is, I think a lot of times what you realize in business is it is better to do things correctly from the front end, right? Both of you guys are shaking your head. Yes, yes,
we
yes,
always
right?
say that. We
That
always say that
it's
to each
better
other.
to
You
do
You gotta
things
do it right than it's
Do it right
wrong.
the first
Right.
time because it'll cost
You know,
us and the client money.
And listen, and even we have known that, and it's one of those things, 95% of times you do it the right way. Sometimes you're like, man, I don't think. You're trying to second guess what you think rather than, kind of knowing people like you guys that's saying, hey guys, what do you, in your experience, you've done it for a long time,
Yes.
what do I do with this damn thing? Right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it's lost. I mean, I was totally lost when we went and did that project. Now looking back at it, rather than this issue, we would have just done it, just pulled a permit just in case.
Yeah, it's the best thing
You
to
might
do.
have spent a little bit more money at the time, but it's worth it.
But
it's
you
like
know,
gambling. In a way.
It's not more money. It's not more money because now going back
You got fines and everything else.
and
Yeah,
fixing
that's
it
true.
and
Yeah.
the stress and the headache of it.
Yeah.
I gotta pay Daniel, I
Exactly.
gotta call you guys, I gotta
Yeah.
get your help. Now I gotta, and still I have to pull the permit anyways.
Yes.
It's not like you're getting away with anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I just kind of wanted to go through that as we got started today.
Chicago Flipping with Andrew Holmes will return next Sunday at 12 noon. For information or questions about content of this show or to speak to Andrew, call 844-MONEY-55 or visit ChicagoCashflow.com to learn about upcoming seminars. That's 844-666-3955. And be sure to tune in next week.